For more than 7 decades, one rifle has dominated battlefields, shaped revolutions, and become one of the most recognizable weapons ever created. It has appeared in countless wars, influenced military strategy across continents, and earned a reputation for reliability that few firearms have ever matched. This is the story of the AK-47, a rifle that forever changed the face of modern warfare. But how did a weapon designed in the aftermath of World War II become the most widely used rifle in history? Why has it remained relevant while so many other firearms have disappeared? And what made millions of soldiers, freedom fighters, and armies around the world place their trust in a single design? To understand the AK-47, we must travel back to the closing years of World War II. The war had exposed serious weaknesses in traditional infantry rifles. Most were powerful and accurate at long distances, but they were often heavy, slow to operate, and difficult to control during fast-moving battles. Military leaders realized that future combat would demand something different, a weapon that combined power, simplicity, and rapid fire. At the same time, the Soviet Union carefully studied the effectiveness of Germany's revolutionary STG-44 assault rifle. Unlike conventional rifles, it fired an intermediate cartridge, allowing soldiers to carry more ammunition while maintaining excellent firepower during close and medium-range combat. This concept would forever change military thinking. Among the millions of Soviet soldiers returning home from the war was a young tank commander named Mikhail Kalashnikov. During his service, he witnessed firsthand how important dependable weapons were on the battlefield. After being wounded in combat, he began thinking about how a better rifle could be built, one that any soldier could operate under the harshest conditions. Kalashnikov wasn't trying to create the most advanced firearm in the world. His goal was far simpler. He wanted a rifle that ordinary soldiers could depend on, whether they were fighting in freezing snow, scorching deserts, dense jungles, or muddy trenches. After years of testing, redesigning, and improving his ideas, the Soviet military officially adopted his creation in 1947. The rifle became known as the Automat Kalashnikova 1947, or simply the AK-47. At first, few people could have predicted the enormous impact this weapon would have. What began as a military rifle for the Soviet army would eventually spread across nearly every continent, becoming far more than just another firearm. It would grow into one of the most influential military inventions of the 20th century, changing warfare forever. The success of the AK-47 wasn't built on flashy technology or complicated engineering. Instead, it was built on one simple principle: reliability above everything else. While many rifles of its era demanded careful maintenance and frequent cleaning, the AK-47 quickly earned a reputation for functioning in conditions where other firearms would often fail. Mikhail Kalashnikov believed that a soldier's weapon should work whenever it was needed, regardless of the environment. That philosophy shaped every part of the rifle's design. Rather than focusing on unnecessary complexity, he created a firearm that was simple, rugged, and dependable. One of the AK-47's greatest strengths was its gas-operated mechanism combined with generous internal clearances. This allowed dirt, sand, mud, snow, and dust to pass through the rifle without easily causing malfunctions. Whether carried through frozen forests, humid jungles, or scorching deserts, the rifle continued to operate with remarkable consistency. Another reason for its popularity was how easy it was to use. Soldiers could learn to operate, disassemble, clean, and reassemble the rifle in a relatively short amount of time. Even recruits with very little experience could quickly become familiar with its controls, making it an ideal weapon for large military forces. The AK-47 also fired the powerful 7.62 by 39mm intermediate cartridge. This round offered an excellent balance between stopping power and controllable recoil, allowing soldiers to engage targets effectively during the close and medium-range combat that had become increasingly common after World War II. Perhaps even more importantly, the rifle was designed for mass production. Its straightforward construction allowed factories to manufacture enormous numbers of rifles efficiently and at a lower cost than many competing designs. As the Cold War expanded, millions of AK-47s and later AK pattern rifles were produced not only in the Soviet Union, but also in numerous allied countries around the world. It wasn't long before the rifle became a familiar sight across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Military forces, police units, and security organizations adopted it because they knew it could continue performing under extremely demanding conditions. Over the years, its reputation spread far beyond the battlefield. By the late 20th century, the AK-47 had become far more than just a military rifle. It had evolved into a global symbol of reliability, simplicity, and battlefield effectiveness. Even after more than 7 decades, its design continues to influence modern firearms, and millions remain in service around the world. Few weapons in history have left such a lasting legacy. The AK-47 didn't just change the battlefield. It changed military history forever.